decisions. Think about this number for a second. 3,323. That is literally the exact number of billionaires in the entire world today. It's a ridiculously exclusive club for sure. And to get there, it requires an entirely different mental operating system than the rest of us use. When you reach this top tier, everything past the first million just becomes numbers on a screen, and the rules of the game change completely.
So, there's this really sharp contrast between the superficial illusion of wealth and the actual grounded reality of how these empires are built. The media constantly trains us to focus on the flashy bank accounts and the private jets, but the actual secret, the real secret, lies entirely in a highly calibrated mindset centered on calculating risk and executing with incredible speed. It's not about how they live. It is entirely about how they think.
Okay, so how do billionaires treat their absolute most finite resource? Well, while most people are out there asking how they can make more money, which, let's face it, usually means trading their limited time for a paycheck, a billionaire completely flips that equation. They realize, hey, I'm actually slowing myself down if I touch every single detail of my business. So they trade their money to buy back their time, building teams and systems to scale up.
And that brings up a pretty tough question for you. What daily tasks can you ruthlessly delegate, automate, or just totally eliminate right now to free up your time for big picture thinking? Because honestly, stepping out of the daily weeds is exactly where the biggest wealth jump happens. If you're constantly buried in day-to-day operations, there's absolutely no bandwidth left for the massive thinking that actually creates empires.
So freeing up all that time allows for a massive, massive shift in vision. While the average mind wants to get rich quick and, totally panics over a tiny dip in their portfolio on a random Tuesday afternoon, the elite mind is operating on a completely different frequency. They're looking 10, 20, or even 30 years ahead. They invest heavily in infrastructure, real estate, and future-defining technology, constantly asking themselves what they can build today that will quietly pay them for the rest of their lives.
You really see the immense patience required when you look at the timelines at this level. I mean, Elon Musk didn't just stumble into electric vehicles yesterday. He started working on Tesla way back in 2004. And Jeff Bezos? He spent over 2 decades building Amazon before it ever reached $1 trillion valuation. They definitely didn't chase quick profits. They anchored themselves to a massive long-term vision.
Now, there is this absolutely incredible story from our insights about a rejected $200 million real estate deal. A billionaire was basically handed a deal for a massive, easy payday in less than a month, and he just passed on it. No way, right? Why? Well, because his closest friends were already the biggest developers in that region. He outright stated that he doesn't compete with giants. Instead, he builds his own empire in empty spaces where absolutely no one else is even playing.
The elite mindset is entirely focused on creation, not competition. Think about tech hardware for a second. The ordinary approach was just trying to beat Dell or IBM at their own game. But Steve Jobs? He stepped back and built a completely new ecosystem with Apple. Same thing in automotive. The ordinary thinking was, let's make a slightly better gas car. Elon Musk built an entirely different electric industry with Tesla. The real question you should be asking isn't how to compete, but rather how you can create something absolutely no one else is doing.
So, contrary to this whole myth of the wild, reckless entrepreneur, billionaires are not gamblers. Their risk-taking is deeply, deeply systematic. They meticulously follow a protocol. They test the waters first, they learn from the data, they adjust the strategy, and only then do they go all in. And even then, they hedge their risks by buying cash-flowing assets so they don't lose the whole shebang if things go wrong. They are always asking, what is the absolute worst-case scenario, and can I survive it before pulling the trigger?
And this connects perfectly to a really powerful piece of mentor advice that highlights how heavily this group invests in people way before they actually need anything from them. Your net worth is your network. It's not just a catchy phrase, guys. It is a fundamental, structural business strategy.
There's a brilliant approach detailed in the source material. Let's call it the Miami Mentorship Framework. The storyteller flew all the way to Miami to meet a venture capitalist named Jeff. But instead of pitching herself or asking for a bunch of favors, she just listened intently. She asked meaningful questions, and she found ways to add value and help him first. Because of that value-first approach, a genuine mentorship and a highly lucrative business partnership organically formed. It's like a giant puzzle coming together naturally.
Number 5.
Moving right along,
cash
flow
principle
is king. This leads us to the ultimate financial reality. Being a billionaire on paper means absolutely nothing if the money isn't moving. Having a $10 million net worth but zero cash flow, that is a total trap. You are basically stuck.
But compare that to someone earning $500,000 a year in consistent passive income. The person with that unstoppable flow is actually wealthier and has significantly more real financial freedom than the guy sitting on a massive illiquid net worth.
Because here's the thing, real wealth isn't just sitting in a bank account. Billionaires rarely have $1 billion just sitting idle and checking. It is constantly moving through assets, businesses, stocks, and real estate. If you want to start making real money, you absolutely must pivot your entire focus. You've got to direct your energy toward investments that generate moving cash flow, rather than just obsessively chasing some high, static net worth number.
Now this is the absolute game changer. This is the catalyst that makes all those other mindsets actually function. After analyzing these ultra-rich individuals, their single biggest differentiator is sheer speed. Ordinary execution is plagued by analysis paralysis. Overthinking every little detail until the window of opportunity literally slams shut. But the billionaire execution? They act incredibly fast and completely trust their ability to adjust course later.
Richard Branson famously hit the nail on the head when he said, if someone offers you an amazing opportunity and you're not sure you can do it, say yes and learn how to do it later. You simply do not wait until you feel 100% ready because, honestly, you never will. You take immediate action and you figure out the mechanics on the fly.
I want to leave you with a pretty provocative thought as we wrap up this explainer today. You've seen the blueprint now. You know that they trade money for time. They dominate rather than compete, and they execute with absolutely blistering speed. So looking directly at your own daily habits, what is the one single thing you can start doing today that will apply this elite mindset and move you forward to your first million? Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating paradigm shift with me.